Today, we're not going to talk about your salary, or where you live, or what your family does. No, we're going to talk about the real prison, the one that holds so many people back without them even knowing it.
And this, right here, is the absolute heart of it all. The real limits aren't out there in the world. They're the programming, the software running inside your head that dictates your entire financial life. The rules of the game, they were written inside your own mind a long, long time ago.
I mean, you've felt this, right? You see other people getting ahead, and you're working hard, you're doing all the right things, but it just feels like there's this invisible force holding you in place. Well, guess what? It's because they are playing a different game. And today, we're going to learn the rules.
So, this invisible prison, how does it even get built? The crazy part is, it's constructed brick by brick, usually from the time we're kids, and it happens so subtly, you never even notice the walls going up around you. Sound familiar? This list probably hits a little too close to home for a lot of us. Waking up, rushing to work, worrying about these exact things. You dream of freedom, but every single month feels like a carbon copy of the last. This cycle, it's not an accident. It's the daily reality of what it feels like to live inside the prison.
Okay, so this prison isn't just one thing. It's held up by 3 massive walls. 3 powerful, invisible barriers that literally shape every single financial decision you make. We're about to break them down one by one.
Let's start with the foundation, the very first wall. And it's a big one, scarcity. This is the belief system that gets handed down to us, often disguised as love and protection.
How many of us heard something just like this growing up? Save your money, don't spend it. We're middle class, this is just how it is for us. Now, on the surface, that sounds like good advice, meant to keep you safe. But what it's really doing is installing a deep-seated program in your mind. And that's what's so sneaky about it. Scarcity becomes your default setting. It's not this big, obvious thing you think about. It's like the wallpaper in a room you've lived in your whole life. You don't even see it anymore, but it colors everything. Every opportunity looks terrifying, every big dream feels a little bit silly, and you might even feel guilty for wanting more. Now, built right on top of that foundation of scarcity is the second wall, fear. And if scarcity is the wallpaper, then fear is the prison guard that paces back and forth, making sure you don't even try to check if the doors are unlocked.
Here's how our own brain plays tricks on us. Let's say you see an opportunity. Maybe it's a new course, a business idea, an investment. Your brain immediately jumps to, oh my God, what if I fail? What will people think? What if I look stupid? But notice what it's not asking. It's not asking, okay, what's the actual calculated mathematical risk here? No, it's totally focused on avoiding emotional pain.
And this is the master illusion, isn't it? We tell ourselves, oh, I'm just being practical, or I'm just being realistic. But 9 times out of 10, it's not practicality. It's just fear, wearing a suit and tie, trying to sound respectable while it convinces you that your safe little cage is way better than the big open sky.
Which brings us to the third, and honestly, maybe the most seductive and dangerous wall of all, comfort. Think about it. The middle class isn't addicted to luxury. It's addicted to predictability. The same routine, the same drive to work, the same kind of weekend. It feels safe, it feels known. So when a real opportunity for growth shows up, something that requires learning a new, hard skill or taking a leap, your brain doesn't ask, will this make my life better? It asks, will this make me uncomfortable? And as soon as the answer is yes, you retreat right back to that cozy sofa in your cell.
All right, so we've mapped out the prison. Now let's talk about those people who seem to be playing a completely different game. It's not that they were born with a different brain, they just have a different rulebook loaded onto their operating system.
Just look at the contrast here. It's night and day. The middle-class rules are all defensive. They're centered on preservation, on not losing, on avoiding failure. The rich rules, they're all offense. They're focused on growth, on learning, on expansion. One mindset is constantly asking, what's the worst that could happen? The other is asking, what's the best that could happen? And how do I manage the downside?
If you take away just one thing from this entire explainer, let it be this. The real gap isn't about the amount of money you have right now. It's about the meaning you give to money. Is it a tool you use to feel safe and secure today, or is it a tool you use to build power, options, and real freedom for tomorrow?
Look, you can't just wish away years of programming in 5 minutes. It doesn't work like that. But you absolutely can start making some cracks in those walls, right now, today. Here are 3 simple but incredibly powerful mental shifts you can start practicing immediately.
First, every single time your brain says, I can't afford this, stop, and then consciously reframe it. Ask, okay, how could I afford this? This simple switch flips your brain from problem mode into solution mode. Second, redefine risk. Don't just obsess over the risk of taking action. Start asking yourself, what is the massive risk, the real price of staying exactly where I am? And finally, start choosing growth. See that feeling of discomfort not as a warning sign to stop, but as the price of admission to a bigger, better life.
Let's get one thing straight. It is not your fault that you are programmed with scarcity and fear. Your parents, your school, society, they gave you the tools they had. But, and this is a big but, now that you can see the prison walls, staying inside is your responsibility.
Your freedom begins with a question. That's it. See, the bars of this prison aren't made of steel. They're made of ideas, beliefs you've accepted as truth. And the moment you start to seriously question them, the entire structure starts to get shaky. It starts to crack.
But hold on. Everything we've talked about so far, as important as it is, it's still not the biggest trap. There's one single belief, one huge lie that almost every middle-class person is taught. It sounds responsible, it sounds positive, and it quietly and systematically destroys any chance you have of building real wealth. As long as you believe that lie, you'll just keep working harder and harder inside the same four walls. We're going to expose that lie in our next explainer. You're not going to want to miss it.